live.
Live.
Like we're live.
We were live.
Yeah. I'm alive. You're alive. But by the end of this issue, Constantine won't be. He's going to die at the end of this.
Yeah, he is.
But before we get to this issue, Hellblazer 44, we do have a comment from our last video. Huge shout out to our homie, Andrew Silva. He says, you guys got me hooked on Constantine. Ordered Swamp Thing 37, the first appearance, Swamp Thing 38, second appearance, along with Hellblazer 42.
He's hooked on Constantine.
That's right.
Hooked on phonics. For anyone else who was raised in the 90s.
Hooked on Constantine, hooked on phonics, and now hooked on some dangerous habits.
True.
Very. All right, so we start this off. I mean, first off, the cover of this issue is awesome. And you're going to want to hit that like and that subscribe button because this is something we do regularly. We break down the issues. We talk about them. We love comics. We read comics. And we're going to read this comic with you guys. So, Hellblazer 44. This cover is awesome. It's John at a graveyard. And that's where we begin the story.
Yeah, and to me, like, this gave me, like, one of those ick feelings because he looks like the Corinthian.
Oh, okay.
From Sandman. I don't know. To me, he does.
Everything just comes back to Sandman, doesn't it?
I love Sandman.
Okay, wow, it's common.
Sorry, I don't want to bring it up all the
No,
time.
you can. I know.
I just like the way he looks. Like, there's a couple of scenes where Corinthian's, like, standing there, and I don't know, like, I just remember, like, the Corinthian gave me the ick feeling in Sandman, and, like, it just brings me back. And this is the second time reading this specific run that I've had that, like, it looks like the Corinthian. Like,
no, I feel
I
you.
just had to bring it up.
Why is he in the graveyard?
He's saying goodbye to his dad.
Yeah, his dad is passed away. He's in the ground. But if you remember from the last coverage, or no, this is actually 2 issues ago, Satan mentions that his father is in hell. And he's in hell because he hated his son.
Constantine's father's in hell.
Constantine doesn't want to believe it. He doesn't know that's true. But he's at the graveyard paying respects because this issue is called My Way. Constantine's going to die. He knows he's going to die. And he's got to say his goodbyes, pay his respects. And the first person he's going to pay respects to is his father. And he does that. Not before going for a cigarette and not having it be there and saying shit. I love that. I love that panel. It's good.
It's pretty annoying.
It is. You know, back when
Back
when I smoked e-cigs, I've never smoked cigarettes, but back when I used to smoke e-cigs regularly, I would lose it all the time. I think everybody who smokes e-cigs, that's a thing that they lose it. And they're like, shoot, I can't function. Where's my e-cig? I want it in my pocket. And that's what he's dealing with here. So he's got to go get some cigs.
Yeah, you can't just call it.
Right.
Like your cell phone.
Yeah. All right. So he's got to go see some people. Who does he go see?
So first he visits his dad, talks about his mom too. Then he's got to go see his sister. Actually, I think this scene is my favorite scene because he has... Okay, so number one, he doesn't actually admit to having cancer to his sister.
That's a good point. I didn't even think about that.
He has a hard time admitting that he has cancer because I feel like there's like some type of embarrassment on his end that he got it from like cigarillos.
Yeah.
You know?
He's like, God damn it. I feel like beating demons. I slit Lucifer's throat.
And I have cancer because like he really doesn't tell people he has cancer except for people who already know.
True.
Even with his sister, he doesn't admit it. He's actually like, oh, all that bad shit caught up to me.
Yeah. You get to see a little bit of his past here too. I mean, we're only like 44 issues into this run at this point, if you're reading from the beginning. And there's not a whole lot of backstory, especially his past. So this is like a glimpse of his childhood. And she mentions even that like she always knew that he was into weird stuff. He was into weird books. Like he was a practicing magic user growing up, but he kept it separate from his family. I find that fascinating.
They have a really close emotional moment. They're crying. Like he's crying, she's crying.
He's weeping.
Yeah. And it really makes me think of like, just like if you have a close sibling relationship, like there's a lot of just like understanding that these two people have with each other. That it's not a whole lot of dialogue between them. Like they talk, but like not about anything meaningful because they don't really need to say much.
The imagery says it.
They really understand each other. And I think that's really important to just like recognize that even he has that close sibling relationship that you only get from like something like a sibling or just like an unspoken like vibe that you have. Like I totally have that with my sister.
Definitely. You can definitely relate in this moment. He's dealing with some family stuff. Then we move on to my favorite part of the issue. He goes to see his friend Chas.
Oh, yep.
How would you describe Chas?
He seems a little angry at Constantine. He's like, He's a good old taxi driver friend.
Yeah.
He's mixed up with some bad people. It sounds like he's kind of like he's talking to Constantine like you would with somebody who you like they're really close, but like you still have like a grudge against them, but you're like
it's like he's your friend. He helped you move once.
Yeah.
You know, and he was there for your like that uncomfortable thing. So like you're gonna be there for him when they need you. But damn, has this guy screwed me over so many times? Like it's a good friend, but at the same time, it's immediate conflict, and that's what this conversation is.
Yeah.
It's conflict. They're talking about how Constantine has lost money from him, you know,
lost his money
because he was dealing with stuff. And whenever you're friends with Constantine, stuff's typically going to go bad for you.
Right.
And, you know, they get into an argument and it results in Constantine just getting up and leaving, you know. And what's interesting is that you think for a second, like, oh, this guy's just he's saying bye to his friend, but they don't really have a good friendship. You think until this point, like Constantine, he's not a good person. He's a dick, right? But this is such a redeeming issue because he walks away and leaves behind a note. And the note is just telling his friend that I'm going. Like if it finally got to me. And there's money in the note. He paid his dues. And of course, the ending panel, which is my favorite, his friend who was like, you don't think into this point that this guy has a shred of care about Constantine. This is maybe a business associate, and he's weeping too. Constantine's loved.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a shame that it's cancer that's causing this to happen, and he doesn't tell him
either. I was just about to point that out. Like, he doesn't tell this part. He says, I finally pissed off one bastard too many, and I don't think I'll be sliding out. It's like, you're not dying because of anyone right? But you, Constantine.
You did it, and you were just smoking again.
Yeah.
Like, oh, stop smoking. But don't stop because you're awesome. But
people hate taking ownership of their own mistakes.
And especially Constantine.
Yeah.
But then we move on to his third friend, the more recent friend that he made in this journey, someone who's become a very important and integral character in this run. It's his friend at the cancer ward who's more sick than he is.
Yeah, Matt. First he stops by his hotel and reads up, does a little light reading on some seances.
Yeah.
And then it's weird that they put it there.
It could have gone after, but it makes sense a little bit. Like, he does do a little pit stop, though. You're right.
Yeah. Well, and I really like this panel where he says, "Tonight I die." Like a really dreadful face.
Oh, yeah.
It's interesting.
It's his way.
He stops home and then he's like, oh, I'm going to die tonight. So then he goes to say goodbye to Matt. Like, he realizes it's tonight. Like, he feels his body dying. So he's like, okay, it's tonight. Then he goes to see Matt.
He sees Matt at the cancer ward, and this is a different situation. He's laughing. They're having a good time. They're giving each other shit again.
Yeah, they're making poop jokes.
Yeah, lots of poop jokes. And poop jokes is like, within this 2-page spread, you have a bunch of like just raunchy jokes. You have jokes about how Matt is screwing with the nurses in his final days. And it's interesting because the reason why this person exists in this run, because it's pretty obvious this was someone who's going to end up dying soon, is that this is Constantine.
Yeah,
this is
the
person.
Reflection.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And this guy's making jokes at other people's expenses for no reason. Who does that sound like?
For sure.
That's Constantine. It's lighthearted. It brings up this story starts to get a little bit more funny in this moment.
I think maybe it reminds you why like maybe Chaz is upset.
Yes.
You know, like Chaz is not upset with Constantine, but upset about Constantine dying. You're like, oh right, he's still lovable. There's still aspects of him that have merit.
Yes.
I like how they say goodbye. You know, he gives him a respectful, like, I'm going to stand up and shake your hand. Like, because we're dudes. Like,
right. Yeah.
You're my dude.
They're buds, you know? And he's like, I'll see you soon, you know?
Regrets aren't worth a bugger.
Oof. Regrets aren't worth a bugger. Put that on my tombstone. That's true. Like, regrets aren't worth a bugger.
No regrets.
Yeah, for real. So, then we change pace here because some stuff happens that you don't expect.
Now he's on the road. It's like go time. Like,
where's he going?
He goes to London and he goes to a house that was icky.
This is a house of 13
Horrors.
ghosts.
Yeah.
Where's Tony Shalhoub? Where's he at?
Yeah, he's like, when I show up, like I can feel the presence of like the evil that's occurred in this house. Like, because it's just like echoing in the, you know, like I think that's the verbiage he uses, something like that. But then he starts drawing these pentagrams, like gets right to work. Like, oh, seance time.
We haven't seen him do a whole lot of like magic. You just know he's a super powerful. Like,
Yeah, he knows about his magic.
I mean, we know that he knows about magic, but we haven't seen him actually like act on it. And this is such a great page.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, he's like, I got to go to this haunted house. I got to go where there's like just awful spirits, and I got to put up this pentagram, light these candles in this way. It's like, you know, in Supernatural, we've made Supernatural references, but this is like, God, this is so
Supernatural.
Mm-hmm. It's like these guys know that if I want to get rid of these angels, I have to cut your hand, do the thing on the wall, and then when they're here, bam, they're gone. Like they know
about the stuff.
Mm-hmm. Constantine's like, all right, I got to summon, and you don't know what's going on here, but he knows, but he's summoning something.
He does this, and then I love how like commanding he is. He's like, you know who I am. Like he calls the spirit out, like, hey, you specifically, like, you know who I am. Let's talk.
You know my name.
Yeah. And then they make a mysterious deal, right? There's no, like, it doesn't tell us as the reader and the audience what they're saying. We just know that there's a deal being made. Like in some type of negotiation. You know, he wipes it up, cleans it, different chalk. He uses, you know, he does another seance, which that's where my confusion started setting in. Like at first I'm on board. I'm like, okay, seance. Yep.
And he's making a deal. Sure.
Yeah, sure. Makes a mysterious deal. Okay. I'll find out later. Uh-huh. And then he like does this whole thing where he cleans it up, does it all. And he's like, I can't leave any trace of the other one. And this is like in hindsight now, after we've kind of read a little bit more, like after you've read more, you realize that he did this whole thing. I remember thinking, why is he doing it in this house? Like, what's so special about this house? And I think that the evil presence of the house is to confuse them, because he says that he doesn't want the spirits to interact. So I'm like, oh, well, at least if they get a whiff of each other, it'd be like, oh, well, I smell lots of other spirits in this house. Like it would make sense that so-and-so's been here. Does that make sense?
100%.
He does this whole thing where like, yeah, it's so weird.
No, that's it. That's 100%.
Totally why.
He wouldn't have mentioned that we have to like confuse this other being that he's summoning. We don't know what's going on, but he's summoning things.
It's
and
all planned.
He's just going. He's like, all right, gotta clean this up. I gotta do another thing here. Different type of shape. And he does it.
Yeah, and he says it's to do it, but I think that there's more than just that one act of covering it up. Like I think that the location that he chose had something to do with that, which I think that's cool. Like Constantine is, what you notice as the reader is Constantine has tricks, right? He's a tricky trickster, but it's up his sleeve, and he chooses to tell the audience when it's time, or Garth Ennis chooses to tell the audience
in his way.
Rather than Constantine breaking the fourth wall and being like, guys, I'm going to do this freaky shit. Like, LOL, like, we're going to get him.
We're going to get him. So he goes and he just like downs a bottle of what?
Alcohol, Brendan's whiskey.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to get really drunk, because this next page, Constantine does something you don't expect, because he said he's going out tonight. So you're thinking the cancer's going to get him tonight. Mm-hmm. He said that's not how I'm gonna go.
Gets a little violent on himself really quick.
Slits his wrist.
Real quick, like wow. And he's just laying there.
Bleeding everywhere, screaming. Yeah. He's bleeding. He's just killed himself. He's dying. He at his own hands. What is going on? And we have the final page spread that makes this book just grade worthy. Give me a CGC copy of this at 9.8. Holy smokes, Lucifer standing above Constantine saying one little bubble.
I want to watch. Constantine's bleeding out on the floor. And he looks like Jesus. It's so weird.
It's awesome. Mm-hmm. Oh, I love it. Yeah. Constantine is so good. Oh, I can't wait to jump into the next issue, which is actually going to be with Ryan. I like that we're switching it up. Doing a three-way on the mic is a little difficult to do. Yeah. I like the breakdowns with two people, and we're going to switch it up a little bit. But I like this direction that we're going.
You know, another thing that I was thinking about this is, what fucking deal did he make?
I know.
Like, because he had to have made a deal with these demons, or like the people that he made these deals with. Right. And you're like, okay, but like, what did you get in return?
I know. It's like we're already built up to the next issue. He had to be
so suspicious. Like, oh, John Constantine wants to talk to me. What the fuck?
Ooh.
And look, what
did he do?
What deal did he make?
You know what? We're going to find out really soon in the next issue. So if you want to catch that, what do they need to do?
Oh, they need to like and subscribe.
That's right. Hit that bell. And as always,
geek responsibly.
Enough said. Thanks so much for watching the video. Really appreciate it. Don't forget, you can go to geekstreet101.com, get one of our Geek Responsibly shirts. Pretty dope. Rep the merch. Get in the video.